So I feel like we miss a lot of opportunities to work our horse. And a lot of times we feel as if we have to be doing very specific exercises in order to be working and training our horse. But the reality is that every time that we are interacting with our horse, we are either teaching them something good or something bad. So we're going to take brushing, for example. When you go to brush your horse, you can think of it as being much more than just going through and grooming your horse, but an opportunity to work with your horse on a couple of different things. So for example, when I go to brush my horse, the first thing I'm going to do is I'll put a hand right on my pony's shoulder. And I want my pony to be okay and be comfortable with that. And I want him to stand relatively still while I move around and I start brushing him. But when I go in to do that, I'm going to take a nice big deep breath and I'm going to give him a rub just for standing still. And I think that sometimes, so often, we forget to reward our horses for the many things that they do well that we take for granted. So I'm going to put a rub on him. I'm going to put a hand on him. I'm going to take a nice big deep breath. I'm going to give him a rub. And now I'm going to go through and I'm going to start brushing my horse. You know, brushing is a real simple thing that we do with our horses, but there is a proper and safe way to do it. You want to make sure that you put your hand on them for a reference point. I think it's very fair and polite for us to reward and rub them for allowing us to touch them and work with them. And then you're just going to work going with the grain of the hair. And I like to work my way down and try to get as much soil and dirt as you possibly can, especially in the areas that the tack is going to sit and your horse is going to be saddled up, or if you're driving where that girth is going to be. You want to slide that hand up underneath the girth, make sure there's no stickers under there or anything that might make our horse uncomfortable. And just work my way through. And notice how I take my hand down and I'm going to rub him, because I'm going to let him know that he made a very good decision by allowing me to work back here by his hind end. And so I want to show him my appreciation, let him know that he's done a good job. Another thing that you might come across is when you're brushing a horse, you might have a horse that kind of fidgets a little bit. Well, if your horse is fidgeting, or especially if they're coming into you, take that opportunity to just add a little bit of pressure and step them away from you. And I'm going to maintain pressure here until he steps over. There. And then give him a rub. Let him know he made a good decision. But don't let your pony just kind of lean into your space, get all up in your space, and then just kind of deal with it and continue on. If your pony infringes upon your space, go back in there and say, hold on, let's get you to step over here. There. Take the pressure away and then continue, because then he learns that your expectation is for him to be very respectful of your space, for him to be quiet, for him to be patient. So I want you to make sure that no matter what you're doing, whether you're brushing your horse, you're leading your horse, he stepped over towards me there. There. I pushed on him until he stepped. There. Right back away from me. And the key is to stick with it. I didn't just push him once and then he came back and then I said, oh, well, you know, he wants to be there. Let's let him stay there. No, I said, nope, you've got to go back over there and be respectful of my space. But then when I bring you back in, you can come back in. So remember, anything you're doing, take the opportunity to work with your horse. Be aware of what's going on with your horse, what your horse is thinking, where they're being respectful. Make sure you reward them for the good things they do. And make sure, it doesn't mean you have to get after them, but make sure you correct them when they do things that might be disrespectful to you, that might infringe upon your space, or ultimately end up compromising your safety because they feel like they have to be all over and on top of you. So just make sure that you're aware of everything that you're doing with your horse and how it can affect your horse. If he's standing nice and quiet, rub and love on him. Let him know he's doing a good job. If he's failing to stand still and he's pushing into your space, let him know, hey buddy, I need you to scoot over and stay over there for now. And then when it's time, I'll let you know when you can come into my space and be with me. But for right now, I want you to be over there. Be very clear and concise with what it is you want from your horse, and you'll be setting him up to be successful.